today we're going to be looking at how to be in a Zoom and get back to a tab and then go back to the Zoom. Okay. So first off, I'm going to need to get into a Zoom because it would not allow me to start my Screencastify while I was in a Zoom. So let's see if this works. Okay. So you're connected to a Zoom. Here we go. It's not going to allow me to start video because obviously I'm on video with you. So usually when you start a Zoom, it looks like this. Okay. So what you want to do is you want to enter full screen, or right here, let me make my highlight detail. You can hit this box up here. Here we go. You can hit this box up here. That's not wanting me to go into Zoom. Okay. And you can make it big. So when your Zoom is big like this, you're able to see everybody in the Zoom. Right now, you can only see my face with my video not started because that's the only person in the Zoom. Okay, so now at the bottom of Zoom, if you're in full screen mode, you should have you should have these two, the mute button. If it's crossed out, they can't hear you talking. Should have the start video, and if that's crossed out, you can't see the video. Like you can only see my picture. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to change your name in Zoom. So first off, you have to be in full screen mode. So if you can't see these buttons down here, you have to hit the square that's right up here. And then you can click on participants and it will bring up everybody that's in the Zoom. So to change your name, you find your name, you click on the more button, and then you have a rename option. And I can change my name to Rose. Now, if you click this box right here, remember my name for future meetings, it will actually change your name. So when you go to the next teacher's class, your name will be correct. Now, for this, Miss Rose, that is not following the rules. If I were a student and I was going into someone's classroom, they're not going to let me in. Okay? You have to have your first name and your last name on your Zoom in order for the teacher to let you into their chat. Okay, so now we have my name correct. Let me show you how to navigate. Okay, a lot of the times teachers will put something in the chat. They'll say check the chat. So this is the button you push to see the chat. I'm going to move myself over here. Okay, so here's the chat. Chat, chat, chat. Okay, so if you can't see the chat, sometimes if you close it, like it's not here anymore, we can't see it. You have to go back down to the bottom and hit chat and it will pop up. Okay. So now let's say that your teacher says, I put a link in the chat. So there we go. I put a link in the chat. For some of your Chromebooks, it is not making it where you can click. And so it doesn't work. It right here, I could click on this because it's blue and underlined. Most of you are not being able to do that. Okay, so I'm going to show you what to do. So if you're using a Chromebook and you do not have a mouse, you move the arrow around with your finger. Okay, so what you're going to do with that arrow with your finger, you're going to click. You're going to kind of put it right at the beginning of what you want to copy. Now you have to put your finger down on the touchpad and you have to move your finger across the touchpad pretty slowly. And if you're holding your finger down, you're not letting it up. Okay. And now you can let it up once you get to the end of what you want to copy. You can see on my screen that my text is highlighted in blue. Okay. So now what you want to do is if you click like 2 times with 2 fingers on your Chromebook, it will allow you to copy that text. And I'm going to go over to my Chromebook, which I have up right here, and kind of show you what I mean. So here's my touchpad. So I'm going to go up here. Sometimes when you click it, just you can see that it kind of automatically did that. But if it didn't, you have to, like what I do is I hold it down with my thumb and I use my other finger to kind of drag across. And then if you tap twice with two fingers, that will come up. And then you can go to copy. If you can see that. Let's see. You can't see it, but so on the touchpad, if you do not have a mouse, you can click with two fingers like this, or click it once, and the copy will come up for you. And then you need to hit copy. Now, if you have a mouse, like I have a mouse, this is what I'm using now. You just click, you hold down the left button key, you drag across, don't let it up until it's all the way highlighted, and then you can click the right mouse key, and then that's where you have the copy. And now this link is copied. Okay. So now what you have to do after you've copied your link, you have to come up here. There's two ways we can do this. I'm going to show you both ways. You can minimize, which is what we just call these two little boxes. If we click that box, it makes it smaller so you can see other things. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of drag that over to the side. I can still hear the Zoom, I can still see the teacher's face, and I can still see the chat if I do this. Okay. The other way you can do it is you can make it disappear completely by clicking this line. And that gets it completely out of your way, but it leaves like a very small box up here. I don't like this because now I can't see the chat. So either way, when your box is really small like this, and you usually are going to see the teacher's face because we talk a lot, or whoever's talking, you'll see their face, you can click this green arrow to go back and make your Zoom bigger so you can find it again. Okay. So now I'm going to try to copy and paste and go to this new website. So for me, I'm going to hit the line. No, uh-oh. I can hit the green arrow to go back. I'm going to hit this so I can still see my chat. And let me make this bigger. So if you want to make your web browser bigger, this thing is a web browser, like where you go to a website. We call that a web browser. You can actually click that little the two squares. And so now I have it side by side. So now I can copy and paste whatever I need to from the chat and then go. I'm going to move myself down here so you can see. And then you can paste it into what's called the web browser, the address bar, which is right up here. Okay. So remember we highlighted, we right clicked or you double tapped with two fingers if you're using a touchpad, you copied. Now, in order to make the browser go to this address, you click up, there's this little thing up here called the address bar. Okay. You can usually find it if you can find the home button. So you're going to click in that and you're going to hit backspace to get rid of that because we don't want to go where it's at now. And if you're using a touchpad, you can take two fingers and double tap and it will bring up the paste. So I've went up here, I've hit backspace, I've double tapped. Okay. So if you hit with two fingers, it should bring up your paste. For me, I'm using a mouse, so I'm going to right click and you can see now I can paste that. Paste. And then you hit enter and then you go. Okay. So this is actually going to take me back to that was my Zoom link. So of course we don't want to go to Zoom. But now let's pretend like I wanted you to go to class. Well, let's see, Infinite Campus, because that was one thing that we did. We were trying to. Okay. You can see that now that you're in Infinite Campus, and you can still see your chat. Okay. Let's go to Leestown's webpage. Leestown Middle School. Click on the first one, and you can see that you can still see. I can see where I'm supposed to be, but I can still see the zoom as well. Now, your Chromebooks are really small, so if you're working on one of those really small Chromebooks, probably to do the activity, you're going to need to maximize your web browser. So there's a square up here that you can hit, maximize. Now, when you do this, notice that Zoom has disappeared for me. We can't see Zoom at all, okay? Now you can probably still hear your teacher talking because Zoom is still running, but it's in the background. So to get that back, let's say your teacher says, no, go to the chat or whatever. All you need to do is go up here, click on this blue, and it's like a blue square with a white video camera in the middle. And you should be able to click on that and it will bring you right back to Zoom. Okay, so that way, now if I start doing things in the browser, my Zoom's going to disappear again. But I can just go ahead and click that back and get it. Now, if you want your zoom to stay on top all of the time, you can hit this little line and it will stay on top all of the time, but you can only see the person's face and it's not very useful because you can't really see the chat. Okay? Okay. Pause for a second to let all that sink in. Okay. So let's review. So let's pretend like I've done my assignment in the web browser and I need to get back to my Zoom so I can continue with the class. So if your Zoom is a little box like this, very small, okay, you click the green arrow to go back to the big version. And if you want your big version even bigger, you hit the square to go to full screen. Okay, I'm going to move myself so I can see. To review again, to get to the chat, you want to click that. You see that I clicked it and it made my chat disappear. Click it again, and that will make your chat come back. Okay. And really, that's all you need to know for Zoom and getting back and forth. So after you watch this video, practice a little bit. It'll be really helpful for you if you can get really good at copying, pasting, getting to a web browser, and getting back to the Zoom because you're going to be using this skill all year long. And if you can't do it, it's really going to make it tough for you in your classes. Thank you so much for listening if you got it this far. And if you have further questions, be sure to just go ahead and email me or let me know. Hop into my office hours, which are 3 to 4, and I'll see you in class.